Rymir Carter has spent most of his life searching for one thing: answers. Now 32 years old, he's been fighting for over a decade to prove that Jay-Z is his biological father. But the deeper you dig into his story, the more unsettling it becomes, especially regarding how Jay-Z allegedly treated his mother. Back in 1992, Rymir's mom, Wanda, was just 16 when she met Jay-Z, who was in his 20s at the time. Their brief relationship took a dramatic turn when Wanda became pregnant. When she tried to contact Jay-Z about the baby, he allegedly vanished, offering no support, no acknowledgement, and no communication.
I was there, I was present, I heard it come out of her mouth. Wanda was a minor. A minor! When she got pregnant with Rymir. And like Wanda always said, he picked her up in Philly, but he took her to New York across state lines to bed her while she was allegedly underage. Even though Lily was present when Rymir was born. She was very clear on the fact that Wanda was a minor when she was pregnant with Rymir.
The story takes an even darker turn when you look at the details. At the time, Wanda was under the age of consent in Pennsylvania. To make matters worse, there are claims she was taken across state lines from Philadelphia to New York. If true, that wouldn't just be a bad decision. It could amount to a serious criminal offense.
I don't know. I think his mom was underage or something when he was born, so I think that's probably.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
But like I said again, it's not the same as now.
But is the mom still alive?
No, she died. She died.
Huh.
She was 15 when she had him.
Oh. How
Yeah.
old was Jay?
Like 20-something, I guess.
Oh.
Like 20, probably early 20, like 24.
We don't know if it's true. This is just.
No, but I'm saying he took the DNA thing with the was ancestry type shit. I think it got like somebody popped up on it, like, because you got different kids that's in different places. I mean, my thing is this: if I got $1 billion, right, I would want to have a lot of kids. You my kid, I got so much money, I don't give a fuck. You my kid or not.
You get some sperm. You get some sperm.
You get some sperm. If you are my kid, I your mom, and you my kid. Even if I want to be around you, don't want to see you, don't want to. If I want the world to know,
Right, but think about the headline.
4 years, Wanda kept the truth from Rymir. But as he grew older, she eventually sat him down and revealed everything. From that moment on, Rymir began his own mission to uncover the truth once and for all. Yet every step forward seemed to hit a wall. Court papers went missing, lawyers kept changing, and judges were suddenly unavailable. It felt as if someone was determined to keep the case buried forever.
You spoke on, the love child, Rymir, Jay-Z,
Yeah.
he's come out and said, this is just long-term harassment, man. He's like, this thing is just won't go away.
Long-term harassment. You know how disrespectful that is to a man that looks almost identical to you?
Yeah, that's his child. That's very disrespectful. I mean,
To a man chances are, just out of nowhere, random universal selection, this boy who's not related to you has your nose, has your mouth, has your brow line, has your hairline, same straight knobby knees. Is like all of this just by accident. Just by accident. It's just a coincidence that this man looks like he could be your Irish twin. Are you kidding me? I'll tell you what I do know. I do know that I have listened to actual commentary from his godmother, Lily, who sat with a friend of mine, Liz Crokin.
To this day, Jay-Z has never taken a DNA test. Rymir insists he isn't after money, only the truth. But instead of clarity, he's faced nothing but legal roadblocks, silence, and now even a reported gag order designed to keep him quiet. From the outside, it looks like Jay-Z is doing everything possible to keep this story under wraps.
I think the girl like Tasha K. She got a joint Jay-Z son on there.
Oh, his alleged son?
No. If you talk to him personally, that's his son.
You think that's his son?
Yeah. You know what I think his son? First of all, Jay-Z offered the money. At first, he offered them bread, like, and everything, but his aunt, this is like his caretaker, didn't like approve of it. She said, "No, Jay-Z got a lien on her house, all type of shit that was going on." Yeah, the lady put up paperwork and everything with his name on it and all that. I mean, but young boy's so thorough though. He don't like. He just wanted dad. He not trying to get no money. He not trying to do none of that. I mean, that's why. So I told him when he called me 2 years ago. I said, "Listen, I don't want to be the one to tell your story because they're gonna think I'm trying to catch rep off of it. So let me let you tell your story somewhere else first. I mean, then I can talk about it." But he called me like 2 years ago, telling me like, I said, "Oh, young boy." He's like, "I just want a dad. I don't want no money. I'm already 18. I think he was like 20 something at the time. But something happened to him, and I was like, yo, that sounds kind of weird." He said he was coming out from work, going to work, and there was a gun in his car. Like when he opened the door, he seen the gun. He said he went to go like call his man, like, "Yo, did you leave a gun in my car?" His man's like, "No." He said, "Why you on the phone talking to his man?" The cops pull up and lock him up. He told the cops, "No, that's not my gun." He's like, so he went in the building he was in, and they seen that somebody pulled up and put the guns in his car.
Oh.
And pulled off. I said, "Bro," I don't know nobody in the hood that got guns to just waste like that to do that. I don't know. He's like, "Yeah, so like Jay-Z had a gag order against him, like trying to get a gag order and trying to." If my thing is, if it's not my son, I just take a test, get over with.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you dodging and whatever, to me, I
Don't nobody want to talk about the other kids that everybody denies don't exist and whatever. You know, to be a billionaire that can't get a loan is one thing. But to be a broke billionaire and a deadbeat dad, that's something different.
Yeah. Even Solange's son, the Daniel kid, he says he doesn't have a great relationship with Beyonce, Jay-Z. What do you feel someone coming out saying, "Hey, Jay-Z's my father"? What does that person want from a hoe if he's saying he does not
To
care? You
prove
think
that his mother wasn't a liar, because that's what they said his entire life while she was alive.
Mm.
Denying him makes her a liar. That woman was on the phone with the judge who was harassing her, telling her, demanding that she stop filing for paternity when she gave way and died. His mama died on the phone, trying to get proper acknowledgement to him. If your mama died like that, would you just sit around and let people keep calling her a liar?
Mm.
That's how your mama died, with a judge yelling at her. And turns out now, all these judges were bought off and paid off, and they're going to be looking at sanctions and probably charges because what they did was illegal.
And then there's Beyonce. Sources connected to the case claim she's been working behind the scenes from the start to protect Jay-Z's image. One insider even alleged that someone from her camp told Rymir to back off. Not long after, someone reportedly showed up at his property. Coincidence? Maybe, but it certainly raises eyebrows. Through it all, Rymir has never backed down from his belief that Jay-Z is his father. He's even spoken about the dangers he faced growing up in Philly after, as he puts it, being abandoned by his mother and his alleged father.
I wouldn't know how he feeling. Like I would hope he would think about it and this would be in his mind. But I wouldn't actually know what another person is feeling at this time. You just can think that this person knows and thinking about it and stuff like that. I really want to know. My mom did tell me she went in there and filed a fraternity test, and it just basically I can say it was a whole lot of running around with that case. It was a whole lot of things that wasn't, what can I say, we didn't have enough information to push the case. That's what I basically can say. We didn't have enough information to keep the case going. So it was a big case to me because I really wanted to find out who my father was, and for the case not to go how I was planning it, I really thought it was going to go different than what it was. But I really feel like it should have been over with because I feel like if it was anybody else, I'm not saying this because people got higher standards or people make more money than that, but it's just different because, you know, if it was anybody else that made a low income, I feel like they would have had them in there way faster than people that's wealthy. I really try not to get frustrated, you know, basically. I really try not to think about it, you know, I go on with my life because, you know, anything could happen, but, you know, I still gotta live for myself at the end of the day, you know, I still gotta work and bring an income for me, you know, I can't sit around, you know, I gotta get up off my feet and do something, you know, I can't wait on the world, like I can't say, you know, I can't wait on anybody to want to respond when they want to. It is important that I know who my biological father is, just because, you know, my mom's health, I don't know if it's coming from our family or it's coming from the other side, and that would be something I really would want to find out because, you know, in the future, you don't know what could happen. And a lot of people are so quick to judge because they see somebody coming out and try to find out if the person, you know, trying to find out things, they so negative to push you down. Like, you know, people are just so quick to judge a person that's a low, I won't say low income, but somebody that doesn't have it, and somebody that does, they always think, you know, you coming after that person's money, or they never look at the full story and things like that. It was rough, you know, living in Philadelphia, you know, it was a hard city. Like, you know, it started to get wilder as the years went on, like, you know.
Have you ever been in a situation where you were almost killed?
I have been. I wouldn't say the crossfire was for me, but it was people, like, it was a couple shootings that I have been around, but it wasn't for me. Like, it wasn't intended for me or nothing like that. It's just, you know, it's dangerous down there, period. So
As everything unfolds, one question keeps surfacing. Why won't Jay-Z simply take the DNA test? If he truly isn't the father, it would be the fastest way to put the rumors to rest. Instead, he spent years battling it out in court, pouring countless resources into avoiding what could be a straightforward answer.
To do, like, it's not, you don't have to prove me wrong. I just want the truth. Honestly, I can take a no. I can take, if I'm embarrassed at the end of the day, I can take that. I really can. I've been through a lot, I've seen a lot. I could take me being embarrassed. Like, this can't take nobody not saying nothing. Like, you know, it's not fair. I was 7. My mom had to sit down with me. I guess she thought I was old enough to know now, and she been saying Sean Carter, that's what she was calling him at first before she was calling it Jay-Z, and I really didn't know who that was because I was young and, you know, had my little brother, and I really wasn't worrying about it. She was saying it a lot, but I really just was going along with the person I was just seeing, like the person I looked at who was taking care of me at that time. I really wasn't really trying to understand what my mom was talking about, but she constantly put it in my head like, son, it's not your father, and I really want you to know it is. This person is your father, and I just want you to know. And she continued to tell me that over the years and over the years and over the years, even till I was grown. He never tried to contact me in any type of way, and that's all I'm asking is, like, cause I honestly really want the case to be over with. Like, I've been going through, just like I said, a lot, and as I said, I'm not chasing nobody. I'm not trying to do this to make somebody seem like a bad person, a bad father. I'm not trying to make nobody seem like a bad person or nothing. I'm just really coming out here for the truth. I don't want no money or anything. I wasn't looking for none of that. I just want to know the truth. And if I can't go to the courts and get the truth, like, what is it really? Why you? What is it? I just really want it over. It's something that's really affecting my life, and I just want it over with. I work every day. I also have my own kids to take care of. So it's like, it's been a journey for me, and it's just like, you know, I just got so much on my name right now. I never ask for money. I don't do interviews just saying, hey, Jay-Z, give me your money, or I'm coming at the Jay-Z for his money. I never did that. I'm not that type of person. I work for everything. The next is, I'm just trying to basically make sure no other kids or nobody else in the world has to go through this. Basically, don't feel afraid to go to court and see if a person is your biological parents. You know, so many people are scared, and this is a big thing in the world. A lot of people don't have their fathers because they scared to go out and search for them.
What resonates most with people is the way Rymir's mother was allegedly treated. A teenage girl becomes pregnant and is then abandoned by one of the most powerful figures in music. No support, no accountability, no recognition. Years later, when her son grows up and simply asks for the truth, he's met with silence. Recently, a judge ruled that the paternity case could finally move forward, giving Jay-Z until July 18th to respond. Even the filing of this lawsuit was a major blow. We're talking about reputations worth billions, a spotless legacy, and one of the most carefully protected brands in entertainment. If any of this proves true, Jay-Z isn't just facing a paternity claim. He's staring down a scandal that could dismantle everything he's built. And the root of it all goes back to how he allegedly treated a teenage girl over 30 years ago and the child she brought into the world. Beyoncé, for her part, has remained publicly silent. But insiders say she was livid, not because of infidelity, which wasn't exactly shocking, but because it was sloppy mishandled and left wide open to resurface later. Long before the Carter empire became a global powerhouse, before Blue Ivy was winning awards, before Parkwood Entertainment was valued at billions, this wasn't just scandalous. It was legacy-threatening. And according to Scooper Monroe, the cracks inside the Carter marriage may run deeper than anyone realized.
Jay-Z, over the course of his career, and I have to still say allegedly, has done things and allegedly participated in a lot of things that the public would not be happy to know. For some reason, y'all like to conveniently forget what age Foxy Brown was when he was with her. Y'all like to forget that he was rolling with R. Kelly and they was doing a lot of things together. Y'all like to forget a lot of that, right? But good PR, good marketing, and the fact that, you know, Jay-Z got a lot of this industry on lock. So he's able to keep a lot of things hush-hush. He's very powerful, and Beyonce is too. But they are still black, and this industry is not. The people that run it, they are not, okay? So when they're done with you and it's your turn to be exposed, you're going to be exposed too. So long story short, I told y'all Diddy was first, but they're not done with him. More people are going to come out. What I've heard about them as a couple is that they've been living separate lives for a very long time. So they together, but they living separate. And part of the reason why they're already living separate lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood, is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed. And it's only so much of these stories that Jay-Z can, he can pay off or he can block. He won't be able to stop this. And she knows it and he knows it too. As far as who's gonna be the breakout victim / story, I don't know. Yeah, I might have to ask Jason Lee. I don't know. But I'm just letting you know that once that comes out and Jay-Z is exposed for his nefarious past, you're gonna see Beyonce divorce him. Okay, and she may or may not do an interview, but you're gonna their publicist is gonna release something. She's gonna say, "Oh, the Carters have been separated for some time. They built this beautiful life, blah 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 blah." Now, before all this happens, we may get another tour. We may get another album out of both of them. I don't know, because at the end of the day, they about their money first. They're gonna do what's best for business first. As far as Beyonce is concerned, do she love him? I mean, he's really all that she knows. She was ready to leave him years ago, but the industry it's different. And I don't want to say it's an Illuminati contract, because I don't know how the Illuminati get down. I really don't know. And I'm not going to lie to you and say I do. But essentially, she's been stuck, right? But I believe this is going to be her chance to get out. And according to what I heard, if certain things that I can't even speak on come out, she gone. She's gonna protect her image. All right. And this, I mean, I don't know what would be the bigger divorce, Will and Jada or Beyonce and Jay-Z. But just know everybody's gonna be talking about it.
Back in Philly, Rymir refused to back down. The loss of his mother, who had once been on the phone with a judge begging for justice, had only hardened his resolve. The boy said to have Jay-Z's eyes had grown into a man with nothing left to lose. And by this point, the fight wasn't just about paternity anymore. It was about truth, corruption, and power. Then came the leak. A confidential affidavit, allegedly slipped by a frustrated or possibly paid-off court clerk, first appeared in the dark corners of Reddit before exploding across Twitter. The document claimed that back in 2011, a judge had privately ordered a sealed DNA test. The result? A reported 99.98% match. Yet the order was never enforced. For Jay-Z, this would be especially damaging. A legal ruling confirming those results wouldn't just establish paternity. It could also trigger scrutiny into a potentially inappropriate relationship, something he has already faced accusations of before, most notably with Foxy Brown.
you know, I don't know where you was at back in the 80s or the early 90s, Vlad, but my neighborhood, every girl that was bad, that 16 and 15, 17, had old head boyfriends. They had the Benzes, the big ropes, so and it wasn't frowned upon. It was just regular. That's how it went. So yeah, I mean, so like the time era back then. Not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying the time era back then. If he was doing that, it was cool to do back then. And like now, it's everybody politically correct and you can't do that stuff. But I know even when I was a young boy, I had my little girlfriends. They all had an old head boyfriend that they was messing with. You know what I mean? Like they old head boyfriend. They just buy them clothes, don't really take them somewhere, whatever stuff you can't do, and they mess with you. It's for real. I mean, that's just how I went. I mean, but now this world is like, you know what I mean? You gotta can't do stuff like that. But that's how I always went. So if they compare today's era with if he did that with Foxy Brown back in the day, it's not the same.
Yeah, I mean, she's not saying anything happened. They were just...
Plus, he put her on. She got on.
The Wanda evidence, however, never saw the light of day. Jay-Z's legal team allegedly had it thrown out on a technicality, and the judge who signed off on that decision retired just 6 months later, only to purchase a $3 million home in Turks and Caicos under an LLC. The implication couldn't have been clearer. By the time CNN and TMZ picked up the story, the damage was already spreading. Social media lit up with side-by-side photos of Jay-Z and Rymir, while Deadbeat Billionaire trended on X. Even Saturday Night Live teased a parody skit titled My Billionaire Edition. Meanwhile, 50 Cent stirred the pot from a yacht in Miami, posting a photo of himself sipping champagne with the caption, "I tried to warn y'all. It was never beef. It was accountability." At this point, it was no longer just hip-hop drama. It had become a battle over bloodlines, brands, and billions. And the world was watching. Then came another twist. On July 27th, Rymir suddenly dropped his federal lawsuit against the rap mogul, hinting that there was more happening behind the scenes than the public realized. In an Instagram video, the 30-year-old explained, "I did withdraw my case. We got to step back and play chess, not checkers. It wasn't a surrender. It was a pause." Rymir made it clear, his fight is far from over.
Nobody's talking about the fact that he is currently suing his first biological son to quiet him and put a gag order on him. Why would he be doing that? I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that Rymir's mother was a minor when she conceived Rymir with Mr. Carter, who was a grown adult. What kind of family man is that? You don't want anyone to know, you or your wife, don't want anyone to know who your actual biological children are, because most of them were created with minors while you were an adult. He's been in court with this young man for the past decade, fighting taking a DNA test. If he's not your kid, take the DNA test. Simple. If the young man is not your son, why have you spent so much money trying not to take a DNA test? Take the DNA test if he ain't your kid. You're such a proud family, man. While you fight back the truth about your firstborn biological son, because you don't want nobody to know that his mama was barely 15 when you made her a mother and you were a grown man. I'm here.
Yeah.
Him and Blue Ivy got the same mouth.
I'm hoping he got paid. I'm hoping he got something for this, and that's why he's going away, but it don't look like it. But then if Jay-Z does give him a settlement, he's not going to talk about it publicly, of course. I don't know. But who are we to get mad at Rymir if his life was really being threatened and he like, you know what? I'm going to just go and withdraw. Because here's the thing, right? Jay-Z has a certain image, and Jay-Z has been able to keep this story quiet, keep it hush-hush, but there is something to it. Even if he's not this biological man, because it's a grown man, biological man's father, he must have slept with his mother. Like, he know who his mother is. Because if this was just a complete stranger and you had never slept with his mama, you would have been like, I didn't know who your mother was. Like, I have no clue what you're talking about. And you wouldn't give a damn about giving us some DNA. Or you would at least come out and say, I don't know who you are.
So what I will say is that between Rymir's mother, his late mother, and Jay-Z, there must have been a relationship. And see, the problem with you, Jay-Z, when you was in your 20s, you was dicking and dodging. You was giving out meat everywhere. Let's just keep it real. A dude like Jay-Z, you was Jay-Z. You started off being what, Jazzy, then he went to Jay-Z. You was doing your thing. You got a bunch of kids up in Maryland and up in that area. You know what I mean? Allegedly, Don't come for me. I'm just saying, did you really want us to believe that Blue Ivy was your first child, Jay-Z? Well, actually, Beyonce was pregnant before that with the baby. And I think they was going to name that baby Brooklyn. And then she lost that baby. And then she got pregnant with Blue when she was shooting the cover of the album 4. They were in Paris. They had some good hot sex that late night, early morning. And then Beyonce got up with his nuts still in her and went and shot the shot. And she was like, ooh, we just got it in last night. And didn't know she was pregnant at the time. Okay, so I guess I'm a real Beehive fan. Anyway, with that being said, not me knowing your ovulation, I say all that to say, like, did you really want us to believe that Blue was your first child? Come on.
Rymir wasn't suing for child support or back pay. Instead, his case focused on damages for emotional distress and harm to his reputation. In his complaint, he accused Jay-Z of going to great lengths to block the truth, allegedly committing fraud in court, twisting facts, and exploiting legal loopholes to keep the case buried. While the federal lawsuit may have been dropped for now, the fight is far from over. Rymir has made it clear he's simply shifting to a new strategy in his mission to prove the connection. For Jay-Z, it's a temporary win. But if Rymir's claims hold weight, the game is still very much in play, and the next move could be even bigger.